Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, KLIXcast and Jill Skeen.
Well, good morning, and shoot, I was going to do this.
Now, Joan Rivers, you are on a roll, young lady.
Isn't that fabulous at this age?
Well, it is incredible.
All my friends are dead. Nobody's there to appreciate it. I spend half my day working, half my day going to funerals. And the minister always says the same thing. She's in a better place. And you want to go, no, she's not. She had a house in the Hamptons. But everyone's dead.
Aw. But now, are you, next year you're going to be 80.
I'm going to be 80 years old. But I know. So, your relatives applaud because I think, how much longer? But you know, it would be nice if tonight I died on your show, because they would get to see a show and a death for the rest of your lives, audience. You would go to dinner parties. They'd say, you were there? She was talking, then she fell over. It was amazing. The face didn't move. We thought Botox, but then it really didn't. You know what I hate? I hate the obituaries when they say things like Sadie Schwartz, 106 suddenly, and you go, hold it. 106, about time. Time to go. We want the jewelry.
Well, there's weird things about aging that I didn't realize.
Well, it's very hard if you were attractive. You know what I'm saying? You guys don't have to worry. But you are going to have to worry. I have friends, I'm not going to name names, Goldie Hawn. That can't take getting older, you know? And she'll say, would you believe I have a grown-up daughter? And you're going to go, yes. I
got $100 smoking in my billfold. I know I ought to save it, but it's burning a hole. Right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's finally Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and make a good time to roll.
Well, good morning, and we are back. 7360300, always the number to call on Top Story. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kelly.
I don't know. Joan Rivers was very crude in ways, but she was also very funny.
She was hilarious, and you know what? Even up to the end, very timely. You know, I mean, people come and go. How many people have a career that long? You know, even our current, you know, the movie star, just of recent time, they're not going to have a career that spans 50 years.
That's right.
You know, she
Most
was
of them
pretty
won't,
amazing, and you know, she just changed with the times. You know, had stuff on QVC, did E! Entertainment. And she worked. She didn't like having an empty calendar. She worked and worked and had card files, I guess, of every joke she ever wrote.
I saw kind of a documentary on her once.
I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
And she had like those index card holders that you used to see at the library,
right,
you know, for the Dewey Decimal System. Yeah. She had a whole wall full of those with little bitty cards on, and each one had jokes on it.
Amazing.
She must have had a million jokes.
Oh, amazing.
Insults.
And, you know, and what a memory, and how quick was she?
Yeah, very quick.
To just come up with stuff. So, you know what?
Yeah. My wife never misses Fashion Police.
I guess is that being canceled now or something?
Well, it's on hiatus, I think, but they're probably going to cancel. But she was the show.
Who could replace her? You know, it's just sad. And you just think, and I'm sure Melissa thinks her daughter is just, wow, if she didn't go in for that surgery, you know, how long would she be here?
Yeah.
You know, and you always take a risk whenever you go under anything. So
yes,
I don't know.
Well, now the place where she went is under investigation. How would you like to be that new little clinic that hasn't been open that long that is now facing this kind of scrutiny? They're even getting death threats.
Yeah, I never understand the death threat thing. I just don't get that.
There are some whacked out people out there.
There are so many, but it was a new clinic. I didn't see that.
It was fairly new, yeah.
Well, you have to wonder what happened if you're an out outpatient clinic, and you're doing procedures like this, maybe, I mean, there's a risk with everything, but maybe they should look and see what the heck's going on.
Yeah. Well, which made me wonder if that had happened to you or me, would they have be investigating the clinic now, or would they just say, oh, hey, stuff happens?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it depends, I assume, if you file a lawsuit, but they probably think there might be a lawsuit here. I don't know. I mean, maybe they were worried. Maybe it was so egregious what happened to her, they thought they shouldn't be in business. I mean, people open clinics all the time. We don't really know what happened.
Sure, but I mean, it like you said, though, things happen, and the clinic could be completely innocent. It might have just been something that was going to happen no matter where she had the surgery.
Well, you know what? The clinic should actually be happy they're being investigated, because honestly, how many people are questioning, wow, I'm not going to go there. So, people should know what happened, so you can say, well, maybe it was her age or something, or was it something they did?
Yeah.
Now, there was a woman in town, and she was a manager of a store and went up for a routine endoscopy up to, Boise. They nicked her, I don't know if it was her gallbladder or something. She had pain, but ended up dying.
Yeah.
Healthy, wonderful woman. I couldn't believe it.
And I don't think there was an investigation over that.
No, I don't know if the family sued or not, but
that's the only time. Any difference,
I don't know. But if it's a new clinic, maybe that's why they felt they should.
Maybe.
I don't know, but, rest in peace, Joan. She was hilarious. Loved her for many, many, many years.
Yep.
And to look up to her as a female comic, you didn't see too many.
That's right. Yeah, and she kind of blazed some trails there.
She really did. So anyway, that was a shocker.
Well, at any rate, we do have, coming up at 8:20, we'll be talking to Jan Mitleider about Fall into Art. That's what it is, with the Magic Valley Arts Council. Gary Dempsey is here to talk about the Magic Valley Camera Club.
Or I think it's Davis, isn't it?
What did I say?
Dempsey? Why do you always make me repeat the things that you said? I didn't say Dempsey.
Yes, you did.
I don't think so.
You did. In fact, I printed
that
it out.
That name doesn't sound familiar to me. If I did, then I'm sorry.
There it says Dempsey, right there. That's the email that you sent me.
Okay, then it's Gary Dempsey. I'm sorry. Gary Dempsey. I was thinking Gary Davis. Who's Gary Davis?
I don't know. Might have been an actor or something.
I don't know. Anyway.
So, so we've got
you got that decided.
Yes, we've got...
I think we might have him at 8:20, and then, remember, we talked
him
about
at 8:20 and Jan at 8:30. Yeah, we'll get them both in here. We'll get them both in here somehow. Fine. At 9 o'clock, we have Debbie Thomas from the Walker Center. She'll be talking about addiction again. So,
yeah,
really
and we had a lot of people call in, so... if you remember her, a few weeks ago.
It was about a month ago when she was in to talk about Robin Williams and depression and such. So she's the CEO at the Walker Center and a certified counselor and all that stuff. So pretty sharp on that. Interesting stuff. Open Mind Friday.
That's right.
736-0300. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Hey, I was just wondering what you thought about what Joan Rivers said about the president and being gay and his wife being a tranny. It just seemed like I just was really quite caught off guard that she even said such a thing, and I'll just hang up and let you comment.
Well, no, you have to remind me. I didn't hear what she said, so you're going to have to tell me what it was.
She was walking up some stairs, and she was dead serious, as far as I could tell. And they said, "Do you think we'll ever see a time where we have a gay president?" And she says, "Oh, don't you already know? We already do." And everybody knows that Barack is gay and his wife is a tranny. And so she walked up the stairs, and then she walked into a building and left. And it's real easy to find. And I thought.
And then she died.
And then she died.
Well,
please.
I don't know.
Stop.
I know. I had that same thought that it's a very.
When did she say it?
I don't know. Not long ago. It's on. It's easy to find.
All right.
And you could play it, Kelly. You could play it if you want. I don't know. It's up to you. It's your show. But it was a very interesting statement.
I kind of saw some rumblings about that, but consequently, and I even posted it on Facebook this morning with the post that I'm not saying this is true. It's just interesting the links people will go to try to prove something. It was pointed out to me yesterday that someone on YouTube had a video that was supposed to prove that Michelle Obama was transgender.
Oh, stop.
No, really.
Oh, please,
hey,
stop.
Look, I'm not saying yay or nay. I'm just saying it's there.
I'm just saying it's there.
I looked at it and I watched it.
There's a lot of stuff that's out there that is edited and
understand
stuff.
that.
Give me a break.
But if you you can see it for yourself and make your own decision. It's you go to YouTube and type in Michelle Obama is a man. Mm-hmm. And in fact, when I typed in Michelle Obama, that was the one that came up first anyway. So it's right there toward the top. You can watch it.
How did she give birth to her 2 daughters?
I don't know. Apparently,
we're just saying an alien. National
no record
Enquirer.
that she ever did.
Oh,
and all through it, they
stop.
called her.
Stop.
I am just saying.
Please.
I am
You know what? You guys have gone to a new low.
I haven't done anything.
Who has?
I am just pointing it out.
Oh, please.
This is not my fault. I am just saying.
Of course not.
This could wind up being very despicable. It could be very despicable.
Stop.
And so you're just going to have to watch it for yourself. Since he brought that up, I wasn't even going to mention it, but he brought it up.
You know what?
And that's
she
what I
says
saw
a lot
yesterday.
of things, and you have no idea. So,
736-0300, top story. You're on the air.
I'm sorry, Kelly, but you are just resigned right now. I mean, this is pathetic.
Yeah.
You even bring up something like this. Just, what are you doing? Have you become the National Enquirer?
I agree.
Come on. This is ridiculous.
You crossed the line, Kel, on that one.
Yeah,
that's pathetic.
Just take a day or 2 off, okay, Kelly? Not just the weekend. Take a couple days. That's pathetic. I'm sorry. Have a good day.
Well, I'm sorry you don't agree, but you don't do this show. You don't produce this show. So sorry about that. I'll say whatever I damn well want. I don't really care who you are or what you say. I am just saying. Oh, and if it had been Mrs. Bush or something, you'd have probably, oh, yeah. But no, since it's a Democrat.
They didn't say stuff like that about Mrs. Bush. My gosh, what they have said about this president. But just saying stuff like that.
I'm not even the one who brought it up, actually.
But just saying stuff like that perpetuates the just saying. I mean, it's just crazy.
736-0300, top story, you're on the air.
I just wanted to say I don't think that last caller had a very open mind.
Yeah, no kidding. For a Democrat especially, huh?
Oh, you're not allowed to have opinions?
Democrats, everybody's supposed to be open-minded and tolerant. Well, that only works when it's on one side, my friend.
The Republican, no one can be more open-minded and tolerant than the Republican Party. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How do you get that out?
We'll be right back. 736-0300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. We're going to shift gears.
Good.
We're going to talk to Gary Dempsey about the Magic Valley Camera Club, and it has a special event coming up. And I've seen quite a bit lately about the Magic Valley Camera Club. In fact, I liked it on Facebook, so I see a lot of the postings that people put. So anyway, Gary, welcome to Top Story.
Thank you.
Just sit right up there like you're going to get close to that mic here. And okay, so first of all, Magic Valley Camera Club, what is that?
It's been around about 4 years. It's a group of basically photography is our hobbies, and we have people from just buying a camera, first camera today, for people who've been around 40 years taking pictures, professionals to like amateurs, and just to get together second Tuesday of every month at 6:30 at the Arts Council, and just talk about. We have presentations, field trips, and just talk and what's going on with cameras, how to use.
You have workshops and stuff, don't you?
Techniques. Yeah. Just share the enthusiasm of the camera and photography and learn from other people.
Has it changed much with the digital cameras? I mean, back in the day, I remember taking a class like, f-stops, like the old cameras and stuff, but you don't see too much. Do you have a workshop on these are what cameras are, the old ones?
Not really the old stuff because they're more digital.
Yeah.
The old stuff is a lot more darkroom stuff.
Right.
And it's harder to learn back then. That's when I started back then.
Yeah.
Digital is much easier. You can have live stream. You take a picture, look in your camera, and see what's going on.
How amazing.
It's easier to learn.
Yeah.
Cheaper too, actually.
Much cheaper.
Yeah.
Before you took a picture, saying to the developer, a month later, it's like, what did I do right? Or what did I do wrong?
Right.
So it's much easier now than it was. The same techniques are the same, f-stops and depth of field. Those hasn't changed.
Okay.
It's just easier, faster to learn, which is better.
Do you have a lot of members? Do you see a big interest?
There's 400 people on Facebook and about 40 active members.
Oh, that come weekly, or is it bi-weekly or bi-monthly?
Once a month.
Once a month. Okay. Oh,
and
that's
great. Tuesdays. What is it, every Tuesday?
Second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday.
At 6:30.
Okay.
Once a month,
Very
second
good.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
And the next meeting is next Tuesday, September 9th. And we're having a guest speaker, Terry Halbert, talking about what's it called? National Park Odyssey. He took a year off to go to all the national parks in the U.S.
Nice.
So you can talk about that adventure and how to plan to take a whole year off to take pictures for a year.
So he's obviously local then, huh?
Yeah, he is. He's a part of the board member of the council.
Oh, okay.
Is he going to tell you how do you support yourself for a year as you're off taking pictures? My goodness. Or does he sell? He probably sells his stuff.
Yeah, he's retired now, so I know. So he just kind of sells his stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, very cool. Well, now you also have a photo festival coming up. What's that about?
Well, actually, it's been starting. We put our pictures up a week and a half ago, and it goes until September 12th. And we have activities for this period. Like we had a class last Saturday, August 30th. Terry Halbert had a class on digital photography. So we have stuff in the Magic Valley Arts Council lobby. And we have like 50 different pieces of art. It goes from metallic prints to canvas print. And there's only 8 people participating in that or so out of 50 club members. Because the club member, like I said, amateurs to somewhat professionals.
Yeah.
And people want to be professionals, so we're giving them a chance to present their work. And framing and matting it a little bit different than just taking a picture. Then try to sell it and see how you can sell it.
Yeah.
Then, so that's going on. That's activity Saturday. We have a Meet the Artist tonight, 6 to 9 at the Arts Council. Then tomorrow, from noon to 6, we have a more of a print sale, things like that. They're not kind of finished product.
Mm-hmm.
Same time, the Full Moon Gallery is having a open house as well, 3 to 6 tomorrow. Then, so then Tuesday, part of the activities for the week is the Camera Club meeting, 6:30 to 8 or so on Tuesday for Terry Albert's discussion.
And where did you say they met? The
Magic Valley Arts Council.
So upstairs or downstairs?
Normally in the auditorium.
In the in the auditorium. Okay.
Normally,
all right.
Normally, but we've met wherever they tell us to meet, where we can meet at.
So some people don't know.
It's not that big though, so if you go out there, you'll
find it. Yeah, they'll tell you. Someone's in the lobby said, go upstairs or go left or go in here or signage.
Right.
Well, I might also suggest that folks can like your Facebook page.
Yes,
and join the Magic Valley Camera Club Facebook page. The people post their pictures on there and stuff. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see what people are doing, what they're doing, so you can learn. And it's interesting to see locations people take pictures of. Black Magic Canyon, people never heard of that.
No.
So it's kind of interesting. Just different places people go to that like, well, I've never been there before.
Where is Black Magic Canyon? I never even heard of it.
Exactly. It's
Are you not going to tell me now?
when the Bigwood River comes out of the Magic Reservoir, it goes in basically a canyon slot for basically 10 miles.
Huh.
And if you just go Highway 93, and just before classes, I think it's Ridgefield Canal out there.
Yeah.
It basically starts there and it goes all the way basically Shoshone and just different parts of it.
Oh, but interesting.
And it's basically
Have you heard of that, Cal?
No, this is the first time I've lived here for almost 62 years and I've never heard of Black Magic
Big secret. It's just been
you can't go out there in the
discovered
springtime because it's 30-foot walls. If you get in and they start irrigating, it'll kill you. Because you got to go in the wintertime when there's no water and then call the canal company ahead of time. You got water coming down. So it's kind of be careful.
Oh, that's dicey.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little dicey. You got to pay attention. You got to call them up. You're getting water coming down.
It's cool.
So Gary, so how do they? Do they go to a website or something to enter, or what should they do?
Just come tonight to meet the artist and Saturday.
Okay.
And we talk about and tonight we're going to be talking about locations, photo tips, how to take pictures.
What time again tonight?
6 to 9.
Okay.
So just come by and we talk about the camera club and how to join and everything.
Very good. Do you have a phone number real quick that people could call or?
Just Facebook.
Okay, go on Facebook, Magic Valley Camera Club.
And no dues.
And no dues. Kelly might join then.
Gary Dempsey, thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary.
We'll see you later. This is Top Story. We're going to be talking to Jan Mittleider next about the Full Moon Gallery and an upcoming event there. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Just a reminder, coming up at 9 o'clock, we have Debbie Thomas in from the Walker Center. We'll be talking about addiction and some of the problems associated with that. Mm-hmm. She was in about a month ago when we talked about depression right after the death of Robin Williams. Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting.
We had a lot of calls, so call.
That's right. And right now we have Jan Mittleider with us from the Magic Valley Arts Council. Actually, she is the You're with Full Moon Gallery, right, Jan?
I am, yes. Yes, and it's nice to say hello to both of you.
Good
Well, thank
morning,
you.
Jan. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, and I hope you both are doing well on this beautiful day preceding winter, which I'm not happy about.
I know it.
Well, it comes and goes whether we wanted to or not, I
Yes,
guess.
that's true.
So, tell us about the upcoming event, this Fall Into Art. Is
Fall
that what it's
Into
called?
Art is going to be occurring on Saturday in conjunction with the Camera Club sale. If you haven't had a chance to be at the Magic Valley Arts Council, not only do they have some wonderful photos from very talented photographers in the main lobby, but also marching up the stairs, and it's just really wonderful. But in addition to that, the Full Moon Gallery has a brand new opening featuring Silas Thompson and Corrine Slusher, who are both fine painters in the and being mentored by Robert Moore. And then we have Joyce Moore, who has grown her seeds, gourds, in her garden, dried them out, and done the most exquisite kinds of artworks with her gourds. So there's just all kinds of things to see on Saturday. The open house will be 3 to 6 for the Full Moon Gallery, but will be open all from the noon on to encourage people to not only see the camera works, but also to check out some of the really fine local art that's in the area.
You mentioned Joyce Moore and her gourds. It amazes me at times to go to things like this and see the ideas that people come up with.
Oh, my goodness. It
amazing.
was. I just got heart pitter-patters as I saw her bring one more in after another. They're just absolutely exquisite. You would never know that she started off with a homely gourd. They're just so beautiful, and I have to tell you, so reasonably priced.
Oh, good. Because this right now, people. I always do this when I go to art festivals or whatever. I think about what you could get someone for a holiday gift.
Yes.
And I buy them ahead of time, and
That's
I just
what I
keep
do
it on
too.
a little shelf.
That's what I do too. And the other thing is, I'm really trying very hard to purchase things that were created right here in our own valley.
That's right.
As opposed to something that might be a little bit cheaper, but imported from some other place. As a way to support our own people and just really enjoy some of the very special things that are being created right here.
And you, Jan, create some very special things yourself.
Oh,
beautiful
I don't know. I
photography
just play.
and cards, and Leon, your husband, Leon Smith, the beautiful pictures that are there. It's just amazing the talent we have here.
Oh, I wouldn't say that we're the talented ones, but I do really appreciate.
You're two of the talented ones, believe me.
We have enthusiasm. I'll say that. We'll have enthusiasm. But there are some just exquisitely talented people, and I just love some of the things that Silas Thompson has brought in, and Corrine has these very vibrant colors, beautiful vibrant bicycles that just make you feel good on a cloudy day. And then Joyce she just amazes me that she can create these things from something that she grew from a little nondescript seed.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Amazing.
And it makes it even more special when they even create or grow the raw product that they're using.
Yes,
it's
because
like making
I tried that
paint,
once and mine rotted.
I know, it always happens, doesn't it?
So this is coming up then
So
tomorrow.
on Saturday, come by. It'll be open from 1 until 6, and you can meet the artist anytime from 3 to 6. And there'll be refreshments. I'm even making homemade cookies.
Oh,
that doesn't happen too often.
Oh,
and
Jan.
so we hope that people will come by and maybe begin their Christmas shopping or at least enjoy some of the wonderful things that are coming up. One of our special people in the gallery, Bud Starr, just returned from Africa. So there is an African wall with some of the most fabulous wildlife photography that I've seen in a while.
Wow. Is there a cost to get into this?
No, it's absolutely free.
How good
we
is
would just
that?
love to have people drop by.
Yes.
Wow. Now, can you give us an indication where the Magic Valley Arts Council is located for those who have never been there?
Well, it's over on River Place. If they're used to going to Elevation, it is in that same building, right on the canyon rim. If they weren't interested in the art, they would just really want to come back over there and look over the canyon because it's a very special place just to enjoy the canyon in the autumn as well.
Yeah. And the gallery's upstairs.
At the gallery, there's a gallery on the first floor, And there's also a gallery, a much larger gallery, upstairs.
It's
All
lovely.
Right. All right. Well, Jan Mitleiders, as always, fun talking
wish
to
you
you.
the
And
best.
we might even see you
Yes,
tomorrow.
it's good to hear from you, too, and I'll look forward to being in touch.
Sounds good. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
bye.
Jan. Thank you.
Jan Mitleider from the Full Moon Gallery. Boy, a lot of stuff going on there at the Magic Valley Arts Council this
I know.
weekend,
We got a lot
so.
tomorrow. You can go to the farmer's market and then go over to
Yeah.
the council.
Next, we're going to talk about gloom and doom.
What?
It's going to kill us. It really is. We'll be right back. 736-0300, the number to call here this morning on Top Story, as it always is. Not just this morning, but every morning.
Every morning.
And it will never change. It
No.
will always be that. Just wanted to remind you, Clearwater Power Equipment is now in Twin Falls, and they have been in the Wood River Valley for many, many years. And now they have a Twin Falls location also. If you don't know what they do, well, they have the full line of outdoor power products from Husqvarna. They service it, they sell it, and they store it. So if you need someplace to store your lawnmower this winter, give them a call and ask them about their storage plan. They also carry Echo with the best warranty in the industry, a 5-year residential warranty and a 2-year commercial warranty. And as anybody knows, Echo's been a leading innovator and manufacturer of outdoor power equipment for over 40 years, and they know their stuff at Clearwater Power Equipment. So if you want to, you can go places, you can go to the big box stores, and you can buy something like this, and they may or may not be able to answer your questions. But these guys are pros. That's what they do. That's all they sell, okay? So they know the answers to the questions that you have. So stop by. They're at 252 Washington Street in the old General Building Supply place. You can call them at 734-7767, and you can tell them that Kelly and Jill sent you. Yesterday, we had some gloom and doom stories that we tried to get to, but we just didn't have time. We ran out of time. Too many other things to talk about.
Yes.
And so I thought, hey, being a Friday, we're kind of laid back. I know, yes. Just bear with me here. Bear with me here.
Sometimes.
We're going to talk about some gloom and doom stuff, but you indicated that you brought to memory the
I think it's
conviction
pretty big news.
of former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? That could actually be included in the gloom and doom, because former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell and his wife were convicted yesterday of taking bribes to promote a dietary supplement in a corruption case that derailed the career of the one-time rising Republican star and laid bare the couple's broken marriage. A federal jury in Richmond convicted Bob McDonnell of 11 of 13 counts that he faced. Maureen McDonnell was convicted of 9 of the 13 counts that she faced. Both bowed their heads and wept as the court clerk read a chorus of guilty verdicts. Now, this has been going on for some time. He was considered a possible running mate for Mitt Romney in the 2012 presidential election. The governor of Virginia, I mean, he was kind of one of those rising stars, kind of middle-aged, kind of graying hair, handsome man,
Christian conservative, because he went to Regents. It was Pat Robertson's university. He also did the Republican response, after the State of the Union, I think 11 days after he was elected governor. And, they thought he might even be running for president, if you don't.
Well, when we
talk
about gloom and doom, this is a perfect example of what is wrong with America. When we have corrupt individuals like this, and I know he's Republican, and it pains me that that's the case, but it is the case. And it doesn't make any difference if it's Republican, if it's Democrat, constitutional, I don't care. If you're a crook, you're a crook, and you deserve to go to jail. And I hope that this guy, this Bob McDonnell and his wife, rot in jail, because that is too good for them. They are what is wrong with America today. They are why people do not trust government officials. They are the epitome of the slime balls in the political spectrum. And I hope they rot in jail.
Well, and they're going to be sentenced in January. But you know how the whole thing started was that they thought that the chef at the governor's mansion was pilfering food, right? Like you're taking it and whatever. But the chef said to the investigators, well, you want to know something weird? He got paid for $15,000 for the McDonald's daughter's wedding for the catering, and the check came from Johnny Williams. That's what started it all. That's what started it all. And then you know, and you have local reporters that keep following up on the story. And if they hadn't, he would have gotten away with this. But when you look at the list and the prizes and the gifts, and the thing about this was he had a chance to take a plea deal of plead guilty for one felony count, and his wife would be cleared of everything, and he turned it down. And then he basically, I think their defense was trying to say their marriage was so broken they couldn't have conspired. However, they took 18 vacations together in 22 months. I mean, if you have a broken marriage, I mean, the whole thing was ridiculous. You show up at the pre-trial stuff holding hands, and then when you finally go to trial, then you throw your wife under the bus. So, ugh.
I don't know. And one of the jurors even said that she was Republican. She voted for him for governor, but she said the handwriting was on the wall.
Oh, yeah. My gosh.
You know.
It was,
7360300, top story, you're on the air.
Hey, you guys just brought up something great about local reporting and digging up, not controversies, but fishy smelling things.
Yeah.
You know, Nick Rulon just wrote a article this last week, and I haven't heard a lot. Maybe you guys have talked about it. I don't listen to you every second of the morning.
What?
I wish I could.
Get off our phone, buddy.
Wish I could.
What was the article about?
The old CSI basketball coach.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
When he left, they paid him $146,000.
Oh, yeah.
But when you looked at the contract, and then let's say he got every bonus he was supposed to get and everything else for the remainder of the contract, only totaled $97,000.
We did talk about
that.
Okay.
That was one of those times you weren't listening.
Well, here's the thing, though, is I think this is something that we need to talk about every day until we get some answers. For Fox to send it to the HR and for the HR to send it back to Fox, and then for us to sit around here and not question our trustees and the school for what happened, and what happens around here so often that I see, especially when it comes to CSI, is something gets brought up, everybody goes, rabble, and then a week later, nobody talks about it.
Yeah, well, I don't think this is going away.
It's interesting because the HR person that he passed it to wasn't there at the time. It's a new person. But if you, as president of CSI, can't respond to that question, I'm sorry.
And you're the head guy in charge.
I mean, the buck
stops
have the there.
Answers.
And then they also have that lawsuit with Edith Santo and the email that came out basically threatening her and posing as Jerry Beck when it wasn't Jerry Beck.
Yeah.
I mean, they're having a lot of maybe the...
Well, and then just so you know,
we're
working on some stuff here in the behind the scenes, too, and getting some of these folks maybe to talk. So don't give up yet.
But I don't know. But no, you're right. I mean, I think people have a right to know. It's a public university. Everything's public. And it really is odd. I mean, 9 months, Region 18 Coach of the Year, and he resigned so suddenly, and he write him a check that day for almost $50,000 more than what his contract and bonuses would have been. And no one's talking. How do they get away with that?
Well, they are now.
You hope not.
And still, there's both sides of the story to be heard yet. So.
Well, everyone's saying, then tell us your side.
I know. Oh, I
agreed. Tell us your side then.
And we're working on that. So that might happen.
Well, but other people are too. But okay, there's both sides. We want to hear the other side.
Yeah.
I don't blame you though.
Moving on in our gloom and doom minute here.
Why is someone else corruption?
Well. And maybe you heard about this, about Big Brother watching us. According to a recent report, there are at least 17 mysterious, phony cell phone towers in the United States that appear in every way to be ordinary towers, but have been set up to maliciously eavesdrop on conversations or texts, or even push spyware into a device. The worst part is that no one knows who erected these towers and what information is being gathered.
I mean, that's when you say that, it's kind of how weird. Like, no one saw this thing going up. No one knew. Did they have a fake truck? Like, pretend it's Verizon
but really,
and something else.
When you see somebody out putting up a cell tower, really, you don't think anything of it anymore because they're everywhere. But anyway, what we find suspicious is that a lot of these interceptors, they're calling them, are right on top of U.S. military bases, according to Les Goldsmith, the CEO of ESD America. He told that to Popular Science. So he says, we begin to wonder, are some of them U.S. government interceptors, or are some of them Chinese interceptors? To be clear, these towers are not necessarily the tall physical spires we're accustomed to seeing along the highways or atop hills. The interceptors can be small mobile installations that transport easily and can be purchased for as little as $100,000.
For as little as $100,000.
Well, to you and me, that's a lot of money. But if you're
if they see them, why can't they take them down?
Interceptor use in the United States is much higher than people had anticipated, said Goldsmith. One of our customers took a road trip from Florida to North Carolina, and he found 8 different interceptors on the trip. He even found one at South Point Casino in Las Vegas. Now, they had a map showing where where all these towers were located. There were none in Idaho. There was one in Seattle, Washington. I think there was one in Denver.
Why can't they just take them down?
Then
you'll find out who put them up.
That's a good point. Let's try it.
It's like if your waitress doesn't come with your tab and you start to stand up, they come with your tab. When you're waiting too long. If you take down the towers, maybe they'll find out who put them up. But if you take it down
and you find out they're legit, then you're in big trouble.
Well, then you'll have to put them back up. But why, if they're legit, don't you have to have some kind of a license or something to put up a structure this large? I mean, I was just at planning and zoning, and they were talking about, the length of things like that you have to get permission. So obviously they haven't gotten permission, or if they have, look into who put them up and what the heck they are.
But and the question remains, who do these belong to, and why are they doing this? Well, we know why they're doing it.
Well, do they know what information they're gathering? Was it just an open...
Apparently they're getting all the texts and the conversations on cell phones.
Oh,
maybe the NSA put them up. I don't know.
Yeah, let's just put that out there.
But they're there, and nobody knows where they came from.
You know what? As far as these people listening and stuff, if they want to listen to my mundane, boring conversations, go ahead. Have fun. My fundraising to my mother, who cares? What recipe I made, enjoy. I don't care. Let them at it. I don't care.
7360300. Oh, they decided they couldn't wait. Okay, moving on to the next story now. Now, that's 2 stories. We got the McDonald's, we got the mysterious towers. Former top government officials who have been warning Washington about the vulnerability of the nation's largely unprotected electric grid are raising new fears that troops from the jihadist Islamic State are poised to attack the system, leading to a power crisis that could kill millions. Inadequate grid security, a porous U.S.-Mexico border, and fragile transmission systems make the electric grid a target for ISIS, said Peter Pry, one of the nation's leading experts on the grid. Others joining Pry at a press conference later Wednesday to draw attention to the potential threat said that if just a handful of the nation's high-voltage transformers were knocked out, blackouts would occur across the country.
I mean, they've worried about this for years. They keep talking about the grid.
And they're still talking about it.
Be protected. Now, is it something that they haven't passed, funding they haven't passed? Who knows? I know they haven't passed funding to protect the cargo ships, so... You know what? Again,
so there's another fear right
Congress,
there.
do your job. Do something.
Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, back to the cell towers. From what I understand on those mobile ones, it could just be a laptop and some equipment. So to tear them down would be impossible on something like that.
Well, and actually, they said not all of them, as they said, not all of them are towers. I mean, they're just kind of boxes that can appear up on a building or something like that. So they can really hide these things.
Well, why, if people are finding them, why not you just take them down or see whose it is or something? I mean, they're obviously scoping them out.
And finally, and there's many, many others, but this is one of the big ones, and we haven't really talked about it a lot. The death toll from the Ebola epidemic in West Africa has surpassed 1,900 people, according to the World Health Organization. Less than a week ago, the death toll stood at a little over 1,500. More people have now died in the 2014 Ebola epidemic than in all previous outbreaks combined. 1,590, according to the WHO.
And that doesn't even sound like a lot, when you think
you're right.
You hear of how many people are dying or being killed or being shot, you're like, okay.
But they don't have a handle on it yet, and it's spreading.
No, they don't, and that's the scary part. You take a flight, and it could be in a whole new country.
Yep, that's right. So there you go. Hope you're feeling better, folks.
Actually, I'm not. I'm not feeling too well today.
I noticed that. I noticed that. I hear you're snuffing and everything. So I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Jill. If you can just last one more hour.
I'll try.
Next, we have Debbie Thomas with the Walker Center here on Top Story. And welcome back to Top Story. 7360300 is the number. Yesterday morning at this time, it was 51 degrees.
What is it now?
47 degrees.
What's it supposed to be today?
A little chilly. I don't know. I don't have a
you
weather
don't have the
forecast.
weather anymore.
Don't you have a little app on your phone?
No.
I got one on mine.
And
but
if I
can't
do,
look at
I
it
wouldn't even know how to use it. So
well,
whatever.
that's probably true. And the phone would probably explode, and just.
You know me and technology.
I do. I do.
I think my energy is just too high for it.
That's
my
what
vibration.
It is. Yeah, that's what it is. That's.
I'm above technology now. I destroy technology. I don't know what happens. That's why I have you, Cal.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Lucky me.
I know.
Yeah. We have Debbie Thomas with us, and Debbie is from the Walker Center in Gooding. First of all, Debbie, we're going to talk about addiction today. But first of all, tell us, what does the Walker Center do?
The Walker Center.
Let me turn up your microphone.
That always helps.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for coming back. We had you a few weeks ago, and we had so many questions. We decided to have you back.
Great.
So
thank you. It's
thanks for coming.
Big, broad topic. The Walker Center is a 30-year plus, 38 years we've been in existence. We treat addiction, and we do that at a residential level of care, so people can come in and be treated for their addiction with our addictionologist, and then outpatient, intensive outpatient, adolescents and adults.
All right. So, and you're a certified...
I am. I'm a certified alcohol and drug counselor and a professional counselor with the state of Idaho.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Well, I was going to, and we talked about this a little bit before the show, almost everybody. Would it be fair to say everybody is addicted to something?
I would think, stereotypically speaking, whether it's work, school, food, alcohol, drugs, probably all of us. Some things are maybe healthier for us to be addicted to, but probably all of us are addicted to something.
So then the question is, what defines addiction? Because people are probably thinking, well, what could I be addicted to?
Yeah.
But what does define addiction?
The simplest thing to think about, if you're not looking at the medical diagnosis and the diagnostic and statistical manual, is just, it's not how much you use or what kind of thing you're doing, but what happens when you're doing it. If there's adverse effects, then you might need to stop and look at it.
Now, some people could be addicted to exercise.
Absolutely.
So you think, well, what adverse effects could happen with that? What are you saying, when it takes over their life?
When it takes over their life and they say, I have to go run instead of take my child to school, or they have a physical problem where the shin splints are so bad and they're like, oh, I'll just run through it. And their doctor is saying, if you just took a couple days off, or if you stopped from 10 miles to 2 miles, it might be better.
Right.
So if there's a problem with what you're doing and you get out of balance, that's one of the broad definitions of being addicted to something.
And can you transfer addictions? I know I've heard this with the lap band surgery or the gastric bypass, that a lot of those people will then change their addiction to something else. They might have, seriously, they start smoking. A friend of mine, his wife had one, she started smoking.
Right.
One became an alcoholic. Some have sex addicts. Like they transfer the addiction. So is it how do you not do that?
Well, one of the things is cross addiction is a very significant problem for people that are trying to address a primary addiction. So somebody comes in and says, I need to help work on my opiate addiction because I don't want to use those pain pills anymore. But prior to that issue, maybe they drank a little bit, but you have to be very careful, because what happens and changes in your brain's seeking something that'll give you that same feel. So people that stop drinking alcohol or drugs might have a tendency to shop too much.
Right.
Or sometimes they will revert to a healthier addiction, like exercising too much. Or people that are in the 12-step AA or NA, Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, some people will say, I've kind of got addicted to going to those meetings every day, 3 and 4 times a day, because your body and your brain is looking for something to make you feel good.
I have always thought it was odd. Okay, I never drink coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. And I don't know, I just never liked it, and so I never took it up. But I can't tell you how many people every day cannot even begin to function without 3 or 4 cups of coffee. Is that I'm thinking that's an addiction.
Right. So we know that caffeine changes your body chemistry, and lots of young people, they'll laugh about Mountain Dew or
that has a lot of caffeine in it.
So the caffeine stimulates the receptor sites, and it's really their way of starting the day. You can have withdrawal syndromes from caffeine.
Yeah,
so having the headache, having the shakiness. inability to concentrate. That's a definition of having an addiction and having withdrawal syndrome.
Right.
Wow.
So people that drink soda, I mean, a lot of them, they can't start without a diet soda or something, or a regular soda in the morning.
Yeah. So there's so many of these things that we don't really consider as harmful addictions, but yet they are addictions.
Right, and the field is looking at things, calling them process addictions. It's what are you doing? So are you addicted to your internet gaming? Are you addicted to gambling? Are you addicted to food? Are you addicted to alcohol and drugs? It all changes your brain and the receptor site. So
how do you unchange it back, like to really not transfer an addiction from one to the next?
Right. So the treatment for addiction has to be holistic. There needs to be a physical component where you're looking at the balance in your life. There needs to be a spiritual component. There needs to be a physical health, exercise. There needs to be a diet and nutrition component. There needs to be a fellowship component where you're interacting with people. Because all of those things, when you put little pieces and parts together, it's hard to be out of balance into one activity completely.
Wow. So back to the when you mentioned food addiction, for instance, okay, we gotta eat food in order to survive.
Right.
So at what point do you realize it has gone from just everyday survival to, wow, I'm addicted?
Food addiction, in its sense, is one of the most difficult, because if you were talking about trying to give up caffeine or your coffee or stopping using alcohol or marijuana, you can literally cut that out of your life completely. But you can't cut food out of your life. You have to eat to survive. And so looking at what are your trigger foods? Some people say, oh, I've got to have that really salty thing. I need the chips and the peanuts. Other people say, I really have to have the carbohydrates, the donuts and the pies and the bread. We always laugh. It's like nobody seems to say they have the addiction to the broccoli and the asparagus, but
I do.
You do. I don't think
Jill,
I love it.
So it's all around balance, and it's around planning. It's around the emotional resiliency. What is the purpose behind your food? If you re-examine the addiction, the purpose behind the food is to nourish your body so you can have health. Rethink food into it's a way of having fellowship with other people. So I'm going to enjoy the people and not eat alone. And then really making a sound plan for how you're going to avoid those things that are your triggers.
So we talked before the show. You said they used to determine addictions like 7 out of 12 steps or symptoms or whatever you said, but now they don't do that anymore. How come?
The field is changing from, we used to say people were abusing things or being dependent on things. And now they're saying, you might abuse something and it is really destructive for you. So really what they're saying is if you meet a couple of classifications, then look at, is that a mild substance use disorder or a mild addiction versus a moderate addiction versus a severe addiction. And it's all a matter of how much of your life is overwhelmed by it, instead of trying to figure out, well, are you abusing that alcohol versus I'm completely dependent on alcohol. And a lot of it had to do with the changes in medical coding and how you bill for things, but a lot of it had to do with not missing the ability to help people, because there's such a stigma around addiction and there's an inequality in our health insurance coverages. And so trying to help people, say, you wouldn't tell a diabetic that they had to really get really, really ill, go and try a little bit of self-help or go to a counselor a little bit, see your doctor once in a while before you're allowed to go into the hospital, for example. So there was some changes there that we're trying to help broaden out and get people help sooner that need it.
So how successful, I suppose, I don't know if there are statistics of those who have an addiction and they try to cure it themselves rather than seeking help. Can that be done?
It can. So it's kind of odd being somebody that's in the treatment profession to say that people can do it without formal treatment, but the field of alcohol and drug treatment began many, many years ago with Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. And there are people that can get into a fellowship and not have to go to formal treatment like a counselor or into a hospital or into a rehab. But that means that they really have a great amount of insight. They have a huge support system around them, and they really work the 12 steps of understanding that they're powerless over that alcohol or drug, and begin to look at putting those pieces together. However, there's a huge number of people that can't do that. So they need the professional interventions. And what treatment does when somebody comes to the Walker Center, what treatment does is it first provides them the hope that they can get better, because they come into a group of people that have actually been working on it, living sober lives. They see people that have restored relationships, and they can get the knowledge. After they feel like there's hope that they can change, they get the knowledge around what is addiction, what do you need to do to put this into remission, what do you need to do to live day to day with this addiction and this diagnosis that you have. And so it gives them the hope.
I have a friend whose son went to college, and they drank a lot in college, and they think, oh, that's normal, everyone drinks. Well, now that he's graduated, he's still hung out with guys that are drinking. How do you know that it's now a problem?
Tell you what, before you answer that, let's go to the phone, and then she can answer your question. Top story, you're on the air with Deb Thomas.
Hey, Kelly and Jill, it's Carl, your favorite Spotty driver.
Hi, Carl. How are you?
Good. You touched on a thing here with the addiction. I was addicted to drugs for about 35 years of my life, and she's absolutely right. You have to change your environment, and you have to seek some kind of treatment. And it really works very well when you have others around you with a great support system.
Is that what? Not to get personal, but is that what you did? Did you seek help like that?
I went into a program in Southern California. I had a methamphetamine addiction.
Oh wow.
That pretty tore me apart, and I had my family and everything. And then what I did was I went into a 3-month program. Then I went into some aftercare, and then I got to meetings after, and then I still relapse. There's always going to be a relapse. And then that's when I moved out here and completely changed my whole life and everything. And I've been clean and sober for 6 years now.
Wow,
way to go,
you,
Carl.
Man.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
thanks for
God
sharing.
That's a great story. We have Deb Thomas with us from the Walker Center, and we'll be right back. 736-0300 is the number to call. 736-0300 is the number to call here on Top Story. Got a couple of calls coming in. I'm gonna push the button, and I'm gonna put them on hold, so don't go away, all right? All right, got 2 calls on hold right now.
Well, you can go ahead. I can always ask.
I have to say, yesterday's $100 instant winning name today is Max Bingham.
Max Bingham, congratulations.
And the $100 word of the day for today is confirm.
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 And you go to our website at newsradio1310.com, click on Word of the Day, type in confirm, listen Monday. If you hear your name Monday and you played the word today, you win $100.
That's how easy
Just
that is.
Debbie Thomas is our guest this morning from the Walker Center, and looks like we got, let's try this
one here.
What, they
didn't hang on? You told them to hang on.
We got one. We got a live one on here.
All right.
Top story. You're on the air with Debbie Thomas. Good morning.
Good morning.
There's one addiction that everybody is starting to overlook. All these younger kids and young mothers, when they give their younger kids a cell phone, and there's texting going on where they can't lay that phone down for even a minute without picking it up and having to text all the time. One example is that I know this girl that has a younger kid, and they're saying that the kid has behavior problems, but it's actually the mother, because she can't put the cell phone down long enough to pay attention to the babies, and that they're stop texting when it's charging. She's got to run back to every 30 seconds to check the texting thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow,
that is an addiction.
I would consider that. Do you treat people with addictions like that?
So those are the cross addictions that we talk about. But the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual that just came out, the revision number 5, they are in the process of studying exactly what this caller shared. The internet gaming is actually an addiction now because they had enough data to show. The others that we're just talking about as far as cell phones and technology is something that is under consideration and under study because they're seeing that there's a brain change, there is a environment and social interaction change, that imbalance that occurs. So yes, there is all kinds of things that people get addicted to, and technology is one that is changing our world.
Right, and it also changes their little brains. You see these kids in front of it, and it's not the same as developing and walking and crawling.
They're not developing normally, is what I
Mhm.
understand, according to the
It's
latest.
affecting their little brains.
No, they're developing differently. So it's under study and under consideration. And there has to be a significant amount of information before it even gets in there to be under consideration. So we know that it's changing.
You know, this sounds like more gloom and doom. Is there any hope for society?
Well, I think
Debbie's like, no, thank you.
I am an
have a good
optimist
weekend.
completely. So I think the hope for society, as I see it, is to think about balance, to think about fellowship and connections with others, because those are the things that help you stay in balance. If you're connected to other people, you're less likely to have a difficulty with one thing. And then a spiritual connection. And I know sometimes it's uncomfortable for people to talk about, but spiritual in the sense, not religion, not church, but what is your meaning and purpose in life? What's your potential that you can live up to? And if you're staying on the cell phone all the time, or you're binge drinking 5 nights a week, you're not living up to whatever potential and purpose you have.
So, don't you find that religion can also be important, though, in recovery?
Absolutely. Religion is very important for people that find that as meaning and support. And we can talk about, some people are addicted to their religion and their ritual.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
The topic of the day is anything out of balance. But truly, the fellowship, the connection, the positive interactions that can happen in churches and religion is a positive thing.
Well, I was going to go back to the caller's point of view was the people that are addicted are younger people. We're finding that they're having difficulty with connection, one-on-one, in-person connections because they just text. So when you say it's important to have connections, I mean, they're taking that element all the way out of there. They don't really know how to connect. They can't really talk anymore face-to-face. I mean, they could be standing with their friend and text them.
Right.
Like, it's outrageous.
Yes.
So how are these people going to overcome this if they don't even know what really true connection is?
Right. I think that gives a challenge to people that are trying to do the treatment. One of the things that we see in that younger group that come into treatment, the 18 to 25-year-olds, is they have to voluntarily surrender their cell phone and their technology. There's no cell phone, there's no internet. And
do they freak out?
First 3 to 4 days to 7 days, they are struggling. They're irritated. They are patting themselves. They're looking for something to do with their hands. They are withdrawing because their body and their rituals has been associated with that. In the same way that you see somebody that has been a tobacco smoker for a long time and they're patting their front pocket, or they can barely finish a meal before they're trying to figure out what are they going to do.
So a lot of it is habitual.
Absolutely. It's the routine that we get into.
Wow. Interesting stuff.
It is interesting.
Debbie Thomas is with us from the Walker Center. We got a caller coming in. We'll be right back after this break here on Top Story. 736-0300 was the number to call this morning on Top Story. We have Debbie Thomas from the Walker Center. We're talking about addiction. We're going to get back to that here in just a second. But first, I need to tell you about the folks at Canyon Pawn. It's a new pawn store in town, and if you've ever been to pawn stores, you know that sometimes they're not always the cleanest. Sometimes you go in and you think, this is interesting. Stuff is on the floors, and it's just not... It's kind of, what do they call that, Jill? Verklempt or something like that?
No, that's the wrong word.
Oh, that's wrong. Of course it is. Okay, I'm going to have to study that language a little bit.
It's got a lot of schmutz.
Yeah,
you could say
schmutz. Okay, we got schmutz everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
Well, that is not the case at Canyon Pawn, because Dave Hansen likes to keep things clean, and it's a new store. He's rebuilt the inside of it, remodeled. put in some very, very nice cabinets and such, and they got a lot of guns. So go in now and check out your chance to win a Savage 17 HMR with AccuTrigger at Canyon Pond. They're on Shoshone Street, right across from Will's Toyota. Used to be the Vickers Western Store building right on the corner. You can't miss it. Tell them that Kelly and Jill sent you. 7360300 is the number to call. It doesn't sound like he wasn't sure he could hold on. That was kind of a long
call back.
Yeah. So, wait a minute. There he is again. The phone ringeth. Top story. You are on the air with Debbie Thomas. Good morning.
Hey, Debbie, I think you're doing great stuff at the Walker Center, and the community should definitely be behind the treatment. And addiction's a terrible thing, and I just wanted to call in and say, hey, you're doing a great job. And two, while I was waiting to call in, I got to say, it's pretty funny. Kelly, you get verklempt when you go into a pawn shop.
Yeah, he thinks dirty is verklempt, but no, it's really that. Yeah, no.
But it's schmutz.
So do you hyperventilate? You almost faint there, Kelly?
Yeah. It's schmutz.
Yeah. There's a lot of schmutz, whatever.
Thank you for the compliments about the Walker Center.
Yes.
I'm very proud of it. We have a state-of-the-art facility in Gooding, Idaho, with 45 beds. We have a psychiatric consult that's available to help with depression and anxiety and the other co-occurring things that come along with addiction. Reed Lofgren is our medical director, who's a internal medicine doctor, and he's specialized in the treatment of addiction. And we're just really, really proud of the fact that we know how to do the evidence-based practices. If you had to go to heart surgery, you know exactly what heart surgeon you'd want to do. If you want the treatment of addiction, come to the Walker Center, because we've been doing this for 37 years, and we know how to help. First of all, give the people the hope so that they think they can change, because when you get to having an addiction, you're so beat down. You've tried so many different things along the way. People begin to believe that you're not going to change, because the symptoms of addiction of you're lying and cheating and stealing and you lie to yourself and you lie to everybody else, and the relationships are destroyed. So come to the Walker Center, and the family can get well, because you don't get healthy by yourself. You need connections and people, and to rebuild all those things. So I appreciate the caller giving us that compliment.
Yes, is what you should.
Yeah, 7360300 is the number to call. Let me try this one here. Top story. You're on the air with Debbie Thomas.
Good morning.
Good morning. I would like Debbie to address maybe she already has, but the addiction of the growth hormones and steroids, and the amount that's she sees maybe in the high schools and the colleges, and you want to be bigger, faster, stronger. So
that's a good one.
Is that a big problem in this area?
Yeah.
Thanks for the call.
We really have not seen people come to treatment very often for that. It really is very much underground at this point. And it's masked in, I'm trying to do something that's healthy.
Right.
I'm eating well, I'm eating high protein, I'm working out, and we really just have to continue to do a lot of education around, there are some bodies, young boys in particular, take 3 13-year-olds and line them up, and you're going to see one that's very mature and muscular, and they can lift a lot, and you're going to see the one that's scrawny, and they probably won't hit their growth curve till they're 19. But trying to have education around the fact that the steroids are significantly dangerous, not only for your physical health, making muscles grow too quickly and the stretch marks and the potential for physical injury, but what happens, the rage that goes along with that and the depression that occurs afterwards is very significant. So
what should parents look out for if they have a teen, and a lot of boys, they start to body build and then you start to see results, and what should they look out for as to maybe this is turning into something that's not good?
Yeah, I think like anything, you have to know your young person, and you have to stay aware and connected to them. So asking them, what is your routine like? How are you succeeding in this? Become educated. If all of a sudden in 6 weeks they transform their body, that's not a typical time frame. If they did it in 9 months to a year, that's more likely.
Right.
And then looking at the emotional aspect. Adolescents already can be intolerant and emotional and angry, but But the significant mood swings are one of the issues that you might need to look at for somebody that's abusing steroids.
Wow. All right, we'll be right back with Debbie Thomas. 736-0300 is the number to call. Before we get back to talking about addiction with Debbie Thomas, just remember, if you want to see a Lowen honey wagon in operation, okay, a Lowen honey loader in operation because it loads manure, all types, get a hold of Pat Hartzell at Stanley and Company. He can fix you up. He can... He knows, he's sold a lot of these here in the area. Stanley and Company has sold a lot of these in the area, so they know where they're at, so they can call up, hey, Joe, we got a guy that wants to come over and see your Lowen honey loader in operation. And they'll say, oh, yeah, that's fine. Bring him over, you know. So call Pat Hartzell at 280-1167 with Stanley and Company, and he can fix you up. All right, he's still there. You are still there. Go ahead. You're on the air with Debbie Thomas.
Way to hang on.
This is a topic that's real close to me because my wife works in this field, and she had to. You know, she married a head case, so it had to be that way. But I think the biggest addiction we all have as parents is we're addicted to working to try and give more stuff to our kids that are getting them addicted to things, and all they want is our attention. I mean, I work my little fanny off, try to get my kids horses and everything else. And then when my daughter was an adult, she told me all she wanted was my attention, and that hurt. It hurt me bad. It hurt me real bad. So as parents, we need to realize that giving them these electronics that they get addicted to isn't really helping them. You'd be better off playing cards and asking them how their day was.
Right. Do you run into that quite a bit?
We do. When you listen to people and their sadness and their grief, and a lot of people do choose to use alcohol and drugs because they're trying to get rid of an emotional pain. And then when the emotional pain is gone, they keep using the drug, or they keep using the drug to deal with the sadness. But a lot of that is around connection or lack of connection. And so I would agree with you that it's really hard to fight against the pressures of the world to say everybody needs a cell phone and everybody needs a car, and out here everybody needs a horse and a trailer and a big truck to pull it. So be courageous, be that parent, educate yourself into ways to do things that are a little out of the ordinary.
Well, I think the biggest thing that's destroying our family, I really do, is not eating meals together and dinner time. And to sit down, not in front of the TV, KLIXcast, not with your phone, not on, and really just connect at dinner. And I really think that's lost. And that's when you have an opportunity to connect with your kids and to each other.
We have another caller. Yeah, top story. You're on the air with Debbie Thomas.
Yes, I was told as a teenager 70 years ago that I had to be very cautious because I had a lot of alcoholism in my relation and I might have an addictive personality. Do you still use those terms, and how important are genetics? And I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Very excellent question.
I hear that a lot from people. They're nervous.
So yes, addiction is a chronic progressive illness, and there is a biological component to it. What we found is about a 4-time greater chance if you are having parents that are alcoholic, that you'll be alcoholic. And it's hard to unravel whether that's a combination of just pure genetics or the environment, because there's so much of the environment that occurs in this as well. And addictive personality is something that's not a formal term anymore, but it is something where we have to be very aware. It's the people that are extreme people. When you get excited about something, your mind changes, your receptors start firing. And that can be people that get so excited by a brand new book and they can't put it down and they read until 4:00 in the morning and then they drag themselves to work the next day. That can be considered an addictive personality. And you think, well, it's not really that bad if you're reading a book. But if you're the person that has that same kind of addictive personality and you're doing something around alcohol and drugs, that can be, if you drag yourself to work the next day and you're driving under the influence and you hurt somebody. So those are still aspects of what we have to look at.
But even something as simple as maybe an addiction that seems harmless, like you can't put the book down, but it's depriving you of sleep, which can be dangerous too. And that has health consequences.
When it affects your life, right,
and so
in an adverse way.
So all around the treatment of addiction is learning how to plan and process. I mean, a lot of this is looking at what are the routines that you need to get into. How do you regulate what is healthy for you? So you don't do extremes of everything. Do a little bit of lots of things. Make sure you're eating, make sure you're sleeping, make sure you're connecting with other people. Because if not, the extremes are what can get us into trouble.
Yeah. Right. So kind of the downside to our conversation this morning is that I have found out that we're all addicted to something.
Yes.
Some things are just not as bad for you as others, I guess.
That's true. And I think the upside that I want to echo is you don't have to live in your misery. You don't have to live in your hurt, that you can get connected to other people through treatment, through Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous.
Through therapy.
Through therapy.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling disconnected, reach out for help. Call. It's not something you need to be ashamed of. It's something that you deserve to feel better and have a joyful life.
So what's the number to the Walker Center real quick before we run out of time?
If you call 1-800-227-4190 or look us up on the website.
All right.
Great.
Thanks,
Debbie, thank you as always.
Here's the Huckabee Report. You can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and you would want to call this number and talk to them, 736-6563. Got another number for you, too, 324-3341. That's the number for Farmore of Idaho and their new way of irrigating. It's called Certiset. You don't have to move pipes anymore. You don't have to go around and spray borders around the field to keep the pipe clear, because with a Certiset system, you're able to grow and harvest every square inch of your field. No more spraying the borders, no more costly labor to move the pipe. You want to go in and get the hay out, you don't have to get the crew in there to gather up the pipe and pile it at the end of the field, and then when you're done, they have to go back in and lay the pipe out again before you can water. The Certiset is a flexible pipe that goes in your field with an attachment on your piece of equipment. It lifts up the pipe in the front and drops it down in the back. So you can just go out there and work the field even with the pipe out there. So give them a call. They can tell you all about it at Farmore of Idaho at 324-3341. You can get them online at farmoreofidaho.com and tell them that Kelly and Jill sent you.
That's right.
Well, Jill, I know you'll have the weekend to recuperate now. I know it's been
but that's not fun. I mean, come on.
I know.
Why must I be sick on a weekend?
I know.
But I am going to go home and take a nap. I started yesterday afternoon. I don't know. I just don't feel well.
It's kind of that late summer, early fall thing that's going around, because I've known several people who've been...
The Gracie flu.
Maybe
I didn't sleep well last weekend because she had us up a lot, and then I had leads, and I was running all day, and
you
it's
get
just
tired,
been a lot.
and then your immune system gets
you wake
low.
early, not sleeping well, so anyway.
All that doom and gloom bad stuff out there then has a better chance of getting you.
That's
right. When you're tired.
Yeah.
Because your immune system is kind of on hiatus for a while.
It's a little low, and so I'm going to go home and take a nap.
Yeah. Well, get all rested up, because soon we're going to have lunch with Frank
Pepper.
Frank Pepper, yes.
Frank.
Our winner of the lunch at the Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center for August.
But people can have lunch with us again.
Yes, you can.
You have to enter.
Go to our website at newsradio1310.com and click on Win Lunch with Kelly and Jill, and then you can go there and fill in your information and then listen. And then the first day of the next month, as close as we can get to the first day when we have a show, then we pull another name out of the hat.
That's how easy that is.
Yes, and we really have a good time at the Canyon Crest, get to ride in the limo
lovely
and everything.
Food, lovely people.
Yeah. If you're looking for lunch today, why not go to the Canyon Crest? It's
beautiful,
a great place to eat.
Very reasonable,
yes.
and it's delicious.
And tell them we sent you.
Yes, please do.
And we'll see you Monday, so have a great day. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.